Hello everyone, this is CJ Novo 992 and today we are back with another brand new video. Today's our video, we are here for a bit of transfer related news. Now I know that's been a very long time, ladies and gentlemen, but amongst the madness that is Scottish football right now, there is a Rangers rumour out there that was just lingering in the background, but now it's starting to spread like wildfire. But as always, before we dive into this rumour and break down whether or not we believe it to be true and what the potential details are of this rumour, let's actually dive into this man's player profile. Let's check his footballing CV and let's discuss the old competition for places and see if this rumour should be. So starting off with the old player profile then, as the title suggests, we are here to talk about Scott Wright from Aberdeen. And Scott is a 23-year-old winger that can play on the left-hand side just as comfortably as he can play on the right-hand side, and he actually came through the Aberdeen setup as well to go on and break through the first team, where, especially this season, he's been a real shining spark for them from the first whistle right to pretty much the last game, which was against us. And listen, right off the bat, I know there's going to be some people diving into the comment section below shouting at me saying we need to be aiming higher than a player from Aberdeen, but to me, that right there is utter nonsense, because you look at it, we got Glenn Kamara from a soon-to-be relegated Dundee that was getting slapped week in and week out for 50k. Now look at him, he's arguably one of our best and most consistent players, not only in the league but in Europe, but also internationally for his country as well. When you look at it, from the last player we signed on an old pre-contract from Aberdeen by the name of Ryan frickin' Jack. Very, very similar circumstances, and if Scott Wright can be half as consistent as Ryan Jack has been for the Rangers team, then I'll be absolutely delighted if this rumour turns out to be true. But back to the man's player profile. For Scott Wright, I've got to be honest, this is very, very unusual, because over the years we've done a lot of Rangers rumours on this channel, a part of the Rangers Roundup, but not once have we ever done a Rangers rumour on a player we played yesterday. Now granted, Rangers did dominate the majority of that game, pretty much from the 11th minute all the way through to the 92nd, but even in the game you did get to see what the laddie was all about. Even though he was coming back fresh from an injury, you still saw that pure pace, the ability to beat a man, and how comfortable he is running down the wing to cross it or cutting inside to try and make things happen himself. And I think if we go back to yesterday's video, we got a perfect example of that versus Aberdeen, because unfortunately after Tavernier did miss that penalty kick, they had a counter-attack where the ball went right to Scott Wright. Don't. But anyway, he absolutely burns Barisic for pace, leaves him for dead runs right down the wing, then slows the game down, gets his head up, waits for players to catch up and get in the box. But by that time, Barisic has caught up with him. And what does he do? He just nutmegs Barisic, leaves him for death, gets inside the box and tries to float across to the back post, which is very well dealt with by Alan frickin' McGregor. Now again, it wasn't a world-class effort where he ran by everyone and scored an absolute screamer versus Rangers, thankfully, by the way, but it is a wee example of what this laddie can bring to the table. And again, that flexibility to play on the left and on the right has been an attractive prospect to Rangers in the past, and for me does tick a box that I think we need to tick this window. There's also another box that the man ticks because he is Scottish, and that is the European quota for Scottish players, especially if the likes of Stewart, etc. is going to leave this window. But moving away from the man's player profile, let's get to some stats then, shall we? Because we all love some stats. And so far this season for Aberdeen, he's played 16 games in all competitions, 13 in the league where he has 2 goals and 2 assists, and 3 other games that he played in the Europa League qualifiers for Aberdeen, in which he has 3 assists from 3 games, which is actually not too bad. However, of course, I'm not going to sit here and say if you combine his entire season so far to 16 games, 2 goals and 5 assists, that they are mind-blowing numbers, because they aren't, ladies and gentlemen. But I think if you take into consideration who he plays for and who he's creating chances for, I think he gets a little bit of leeway, because Aberdeen didn't exactly play to this kid's strengths. And I honestly think that's why this laddie hasn't signed this new contract at Aberdeen. You've heard it for months in Scottish football. Derek McInnes is hoping and praying and through everything that they can at this laddie to sign on the dotted line. They want to keep on badly, but he's just not interested in signing. And I think that is just a style of play type thing, because this is a guy that loves to be on the ball, that loves to run at people, and it loves to create opportunities. But now that Aberdeen's reverting back to just lumping the ball forward to Cosgrove and Main, it just kind of bypasses him. So it's no surprise to me that this laddie isn't willing to sign on the dotted line. But to finish off this man's footballing CV properly, that thing we spoke about a couple seconds ago about not really fitting his style of play and not and the people that he's actually playing alongside, I think that does reflect in his overall career numbers at the age of 23 years old, because in all competitions he's played 90 games so far in his young career, and he has 13 goals and 15 assists. And with that being said, it's time to move on to what I think is the most interesting part of this entire transfer rumour, and that is the old competition for places, because stats and all that malarkey didn't tell you everything about football. But if you look into this rumour and you're trying to gauge up whether or not you think we need a Scott Wright in this team, this part of the video will sort of break it down. Because if you look at this Rangers team so far this season, and again, there's no complaints for me, I absolutely love everything about this team. What we're having this season so far is simply amazing, trust me. But if you look at it on paper, and you look at who we've got as natural wingers or players that can play in the wing position, we have Kent, we have Roof, and we have Barker. On the other side, we are able to play Hadji and Aribo out of position because they can do a job in there. Now again, there will be people jumping into the comments saying, what about Jordan Jones and what about Greg Stewart? They should be mentioned, and rightly so, they should be mentioned. But I think every single person watching today's video knows that both of those players will be leaving this football club very, very soon. So if you take them off the board, you've only got 3 natural players that's able to play in the wing position. That is Kent, Roof and Barker. And you're looking at Barker and it's very hit and miss, because every time you think, yes, he's taking a step and he's starting to show it, he seems to pick up a knock and he seems to pick up a niggle and be gone for 3-4 weeks at a time. So I think this kind of transfer does make complete and utter sense, because it is a position that we need someone in, and the fact that he is able to play not only on the left hand side and cover for Kent down that way, but also offer a genuine winged threat down the right hand side. This type of player for me is exactly what we need to be using this window for, backing up quality, because this one player adds more strength and depth to 2 positions that are vital in how we work. But with the player breakdown now done and dusted, now you know a little bit more about the player, let's transition in to the old deal that's actually been rumoured then, shall we? And I think it'll make a lot of people very happy to know that this deal is apparently a pre-contract. That's what Rangers are initially interested in, getting the laddie to sign on a free, but they're also looking to try and bring him in apparently in this window. You know, the exact same way as what we brought Glenn Kamara to this football club. Another player costing about 50k. I like it, ladies and gentlemen. I like it. Now again, I think it is important to mention that none of this is officially confirmed just yet, but it is getting heavily reported and it's spreading like wildfire. You've got the likes of Sky Sports really pushing that Rangers are in for a laddie, and if you just look at the type of deal, it is not only Glenn Kamara, but the same way as we signed Jones and Greg Stewart, there seems to be a player of this magnitude for this type of transfer style every single season under Gerrard, so it kind of fits with our transfer strategy over the last couple seasons. And with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is us officially done and dusted with today's video. That is the player profile, that is his footballing CV, that is the competition for places, and that is the rumour breakdown. Now it's time for us to take all of that and share our opinions on this transfer rumour. I want to ask you, watching today's video, 2 questions. 1, now you know a little bit more about the player, do you think Rangers should sign Scott Wright? And 2, do you believe this rumour to be true? Whilst you're hopefully getting involved down there in the comment section below, because I'm really interested to see what people are going to be saying about this one. I will give you mine very, very briefly, and it might be apparent during like today's video, but this one excites me. I've talked about this laddie a couple times this season. I think he's a very, very talented player, and it's someone that is kind of flying underneath the radar this season, and the fact that he does tick so many boxes, the quota for Europe, the fact that he is pacey, the fact that he is direct, the fact that he's able to cover 2 positions at once and strengthen us as a team going into the second half of the season. For me, it's 100% yes. I would love Rangers to sign Scott Wright. I think it is worth a gamble, especially on a pre-contract. And I've used the word gamble there because of course it is a gamble. I mean, we've mentioned Kamara and we've mentioned Jacko. Both of them were massive successes and worked perfectly, but there has been players that hasn't worked out that we've tried to bring in from Scottish football, especially over the last couple of years. I think we've mentioned a couple of them so far in today's video, but if I just look at what this laddie brings on the table, I don't know, man. I'm just getting a feeling and a pull towards it says that he's worth it. And 2, do I believe this one to be true? This may surprise a lot of people, but actually do. I think there might be something in this one, ladies and gentlemen. It certainly excites the old coconuts, but that is it for today's video, a Monday upload. We haven't done one of them in a very long time, but hopefully you did enjoy the video enough to get involved down there in the comment section below. And hell, if you are still watching, by the way, and you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, please consider doing so and help us out. We're trying to reach 55k. My camera cut out when I was actually doing the outro there. Fantastic. But ladies and gentlemen, I was trying to say there, we are trying to reach a 55k dream, so any help would be greatly appreciated. But before I finish up today's video, I just want to thank you for taking time out of your day to sit here and talk about Rangers things with me, especially Rangers rumours. It's always fun, it's always interesting. So if you haven't done so already, you know what to do by now. But take care of yourselves, everyone. All the best and bye.